And
Julia, Anita, Linda, Tasha,
Michael,
Sheila,
James,
Adrian,
Joseph,
Evan,
Kathleen,
Lockie,
Petra,
Jason,
Dane,
Julia.
and Bob. And we have Ollie and Tibor here. Off you go, darling.
Thank you. I don't know what the hell to say. But I'll say it. Anyway.
It's important.
teach you anything.
It's taking the hearing away.
Yeah,
There's been
it's important.
amazing chatter going on in the room, a liveliness and energy. You ever seen a flock of birds or heard a flock of birds in a tree? On a nice bright morning they start chattering. And it's amazing and joyous in sound. Well, the same thing happens here. And each one of you bring that energy into the room. And that tree was in space. The birds are in space. The sounds are in space. The same thing here. This room is in space. And Perth, all these things are in space. And that space itself, if it wasn't there, could anything express in it or be there at all? Couldn't. But that's the way it knows and expresses itself. It's suffused with a life, a love, a joyousness. People call it God, if you like, whatever. But we think it's something superior and something separate. And we think we've got to attain it or get there and become that, not realising that is the very life of each and every one and every pattern in this manifestation. And each and every pattern is already that. And instead of dividing and separating ourselves as we do into this separate entity, this individual that is unhappy, that's fearful, is anxious, frightened, full of hope and fear, and they're the two problems they tell us about, hope and fear. What happened? We paused and had a look and recognised that those two things would not be necessary if I realise or recognise that I am that life. I am that pure intelligence energy, the beingness. If that life wasn't here, could there be such a thought or a feeling as hope? Or could there be the feeling fear? It'd be like space. Space is no thing. And it knows that. The life essence of sin, it knows that. So it shapes and forms and expresses through all these patterns. And it's up to these patterns to recognise it, that that is what I am. As Christ told you, I am the way. I am the life. I am that life essence. And everyone and each and every one of us says and knows that I am. But we've taken on the thing that our parents told us, you are so-and-so. And their parents told them. And their parents told them, and it's a pretty strong belief that we are these separate entities, we are these individuals. And a lot of us can't go along with that anymore. Because we come looking elsewhere for it. And we come to places where we might hear it differently. And that's what brings us together. And in that togetherness, all it can do is recognise itself and strengthen. There's no need to strengthen, it's full and total already. But where these groups together, where one or two or more are gathered together in thy name, that name is I am, there I am is in the midst of them. Recognise that, relax into that, and hear and be and know and express. Send it out there, what you understand, what you know, when you get the chance to, where somebody else might hear it and rejoice and recognise it And so it passed on and goes on forever and ever. You're not this body. You're not this mind. We've taken that to be so. And that's what all our life is about, trying to make this body get more, attain more, or be more, because in that sense of separation, it's the division, it's unhappy. We hope to become something better, and we fear what is in front of us or what is behind us. Hope and fear, they're the two problems they tell us in life. If you're the absolute, do you need to hope about anything? Because what can be added to absolute? What can be taken away? And in the absolute again, can you fear anything? Who or what is there to fear? And what could be fearful? Now these are all thoughts, feelings, emotions, sensations that come up. And these sensations, when you get a different sensation, that's where it's labelled from. We take it to be what it brings up and what we fixate on and add to. If a sensation that's not good or what you think is not good comes up, and there's a natural response to it, it's not as severe as it would be if you put the label, oh, this is fear, and all the other thoughts add to it. We add the story to it and makes it, compounds it, makes things a lot worse than what they are in their naturalness. The recognition of oneness, being, nothing to be added to it, nothing to be taken away. And as they say, leave it as it is. It is that. It is that expression. And rejoice in an amazing way it can express and will express and allow to express. There's a heck of a lot to overcome when you see the world as it is now, with everybody locked into there's wars and feelings and unhappiness and depression and all these things going on, because we believe we are these separate entities, and each entity is trying to become or believes that it is something to get, and it doesn't matter who it tramples over, stands on and treads on to get to it. Not realising, look in space again. Has space ever hurt by any of the things that have ever gone on? And look at it over the so-called years, what we've got in this historical thing. Nature wiped out so many things have come into existence. There's been wars, epidemics, tsunamis, stars, planets exploding, imploding, constantly transforming and changing. But has it compounded or touched the space? It hasn't. It can't. And these bodies that you see, millions of them come and go. Where did they come from? Came from out of space. Where did they go to? Well, they go back into the earth, and the body goes back there, breaks down more and more, and comes dust again and goes back into the space. It pattern, shapes and forms, appears and disappears. But it's still that one life, that one essence. And recognise that is what you are. You are not the body. The body is a separate entity that believes in person. This is me, this is I. And I can do this, I can do that. Without the life, what can I do? What can I think? What can I feel? And what is life? We'll call life, you'd like to call it God, you can call it the one reality, you can call it intelligent entity. Different labels or different names. What were you before you put the name on yourself? You were that little child, a little baby. You couldn't say, I am so-and-so. But the life was there. The beingness was there. The knowingness was there. And it pattern shaped and formed from the two subatomic particles that come together, the sperm and the ovum. And when they came together and doubled, the life in them doubled that cell and doubled it, like it's forming and patterning everything in its manifestation. There's nothing can be outside of the basic essences which everything appears in. Space like awareness, a cognising entity. The cognising is a knowing, and that intelligence is knowing. It's being, knowing and loving to be. And that's what the ancients tell you, Sat Chit Ananda. Existence, consciousness, bliss, or being, knowing and loving to be. And they say it's that. Everything is that. That's the great mantra, I am that. And we know that immediately because that's the chair I'm sitting in, that's the tree, that's the flower. We know everything is that, meaning that we know that everything is that life expressing itself. But we put labels on it, say it's a chair, table, this, that and the other, and take the pattern, shape and form to be real. And I am that, this body. You're not the body. You're not the mind. You're not the person. You are that life energy which was expressing, as I say, in the joy that was going on when each one was recognising the other, was saying things and expressing things, and there was a joyousness in it, a love, a warmth, a movement of it, and you all recognise it, a happiness. We know it's there. Don't lose sight of it. It's only a short one today, but there's plenty of you here that can elaborate on it. There's a chance. Don't hesitate to do it, otherwise you're going to sit in silence. It's going on in you and you're recognising, or some of you might have doubts or something. Well, get them out, clear them out. And if you know it, let that out too, so somebody might hear it. And that joyousness might erupt into the room again. And in it, settle into it, and it changes. It brings about the change and the love and warmth that is truly your true nature. Let it express. Come on, Kat, get over here.
I would like to talk you into giving us a few minutes more, because initially there was a little bit of a problem with the sound. So maybe just a tiny bit more of a spiel, because the mic didn't stick properly, so people had trouble hearing.
What's the spiel? Just words, concepts, ideas
There we are.
coming out. Trying to point to the fact that everything is that. I can't teach you anything. I can't tell you anything. I can only point and ask you to look to where the pointing is. And the so-called I that's doing the pointing here is not a person, it's not the body or mind, it's the energy that's expressing the life that's living, that's beating the heart here, breathing it, going to here in the fingernails, is enabling the voice to function and express. It's that life energy, letting the words out that it might be heard, it might be taken in, it might be resonated with. And in that resonation, the hearing of it, it's what they call awakened mind. Not the mind that's chattering and journeying, but the awakened mind. The awareness of being. Anybody who is unaware, and you recognise and realise, no, I'm not unaware. I am aware right now. I'm not being. I am pure being. We don't see that word beingness, and we take ourselves to be this body, mind. I'm being this body, mind, mind. But we call ourselves a human being. That's a label. We've got labels on all the things out there in manifestation. So this label, human being. And we call God, if you believe in God, as the supreme being. We've divided it all up into names, patterns, labels and forms. We've got different labels for everything. But take away that label human. Take away that label supreme being. Try and separate your beingness without a label. Can anyone say, I am not? You can't. Before you say anything, you don't disappear, you don't fall apart, you don't stop breathing. Thoughts arise, starts arising in it. There might have been a little gap there when the thought was missing. And those thoughts are appearing in that beingness, this particular pattern. And they couldn't appear if it didn't have a pattern to experience through. And all this pattern, shapes and forms, the words, the sounds and everything else, are appearing in space. Now, say space has no pattern, no shape, no form. And it all, in that pattern, appears this earth that we're sitting on, this planet. And there's other planets out there. There is other pattern, shapes and forms. And on this earth there are mountains, there are rivers, seas, everything, birds, animals, all sorts of things are appearing. But there's not one particle or thing could express or appear without space. When they say that you are that space-like awareness, they're telling you the truth. And space is the very first thing we see, but we don't notice it. We look for the things in space, some content to fasten onto, and saying it's this, it's that, it's something else, or it's a great thought, or a great feeling, or an algorithm, or something else, trying to grasp the ungraspable with a concept. But it's non-conceptual awareness. And trying to grasp it might be good, it might be this, might be the way the functioning is happening, to express spirit and more, but who to or what to? The person can seemingly get hold of the idea that it's going to get this, but that person comes into the beingness and expresses, and it's going to move out of it, going to die or pass on, could be killed, all sorts of things that happen. Does life end? For that particular pattern it might seem to end, but does life end itself? Does the space corrupted or contaminated in any way, shape or form? It's not. There's nothing that can be taken away from it. Nothing can be added to it. It's absolute. And you recognise you came from that and you disappear in that. So what appears and disappears is not how it seems. Seemingly is an appearance. And they call it a phenomenal manifestation. And the definition of phenomena is that which appears to be. So remember that. That's what you're appearing to be. And this time, you'll have to start.
Wonderful it was. Yes, so we have a couple of comments and good morning messages. And this is DK. Come on, Sailor Bob. Been hearing this from you for 24 years. Nothing new? And then John David says, Bob's new book, As It Is, Unaltered, Unmodified, Uncorrected, is excellent resource for newcomers to the message. It has been beautifully put together. I hope many others discover this jewel. I don't think it's a time for it yet. It didn't get the final yes from Bob due to repetitions that are just too many. But yeah, he's looking into it. Thank you, John. And that's it, really, for the online contribution. So now the whole invention, the stick, the contribution. What would you like to hear? What would you like to request for, or share, or ask, or maybe complain, or yeah, just looking for contribution. That is Joseph here.
Yeah, last week for me was interesting because I think I don't think I have to go into the story, but what I noticed last week with me that I more accept what is, accept basically what's happening, and surrender. So it was a bit sadness arising instead of focusing on the hope, which Bob talked about the hope. So the hope, what is a thought of a picture which is not real, and then surrender into what is was more relating to sadness, which then I felt much more resonating with and felt more truth in it. And so then every time when I notice I'm thinking about something which is not real, or would like to have, or what is, then I can see how the thought goes, and then I'm like, oh, okay, what is right now? Oh yeah, I'm by myself in this room, and is it okay? And I spoke to my mother, and basically what I sort of saw is like being okay with every moment it is. And there was this moment where I thought everything is just beautiful and perfect, even though I'm alone there in the room or things like that. And then I start noticing things more, sounds, they're always there, but I didn't really notice them before. So yesterday I went for a long walk for 11 hours, and
11 hours
like
long walk.
Not always walking, but like it was a long walk with breaks, and then in nature with my friend. And then I like there was moments where we didn't talk, and it was really interesting to notice all these things, because of course in nature you notice more things. Oh, I did notice more things, and yeah, it was pretty nice. And usually when I used to go on a walk, I'm thinking about something else. Oh, what about this person is not here? What about this? What about that? And so then, yeah, basically, the walk was the walk, but basically accepting the moment which is there. The rest is just thoughts that come more present. Yeah, so that was quite good. So I was resonating with stories, my own hopes, where I was holding on to and then got frustrated on it and wasn't really happy about it. And every time I think about that, I can see when I think about this sort of stuff, what I'm hoping, then I get miserable. And then to see what is actually recognizing, oh, it's actually quite nice to do something else now, and don't expect that from this and this person, or from this situation, or this dynamic, or this environment, or whatever you call it. So yeah, it's good to notice that, and it's a good reminder to every time it comes up to think, oh, hang on, what's going on now? So to notice it basically when it jumps back in, but it's less now, which is good. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
But that is beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
See, you can go on a long walk, but you've got to talk the talk. Instead of saying, I've got to surrender, you don't have to surrender. That's the very thing that's stopping it from happening. Recognise I'm in that long walk that I talk the talk. I'm not the body. I'm not the mind. I am that life. And look around as you're walking and seeing that life is functioning all around you. You are that. The idea and very thought of surrender is a struggle. Who is it that there is to surrender? There's no one who can or will surrender, so we're struggling with no thing. It's only the erroneous belief we've taken on and seemingly settled there out of habit. be with just life as it is and see it flowing. And that hour's walk can be very, very valuable if you're talking the talk when you're walking the walk, instead of saying on whatever other thoughts are coming up as the story.
But I think it was actually really, really beautiful description of pure recognition and distinction between what is happening and what is not happening. Like you say, the noticing. Noticing when you are completely present with 5 senses wide open. You hear the sounds, you feel everything, you feel the air, it's beautiful, you are here, you're present. There's nothing wrong. And then the thought happens of something that is not happening presently. Something that you may want to have or something you want to respond to, and you recognize it, you notice it, and you put your heart into what is happening, rather than trading the unborn Buddha mind for thought, rather than going and following that thought which will make you miserable in no time. So this was really, really beautiful demonstration. You see the difference in your actually sharing, in your description today, when you see clearly that there is a reality, seeming reality, there is a reality of that daydream, that what is happening presently. And there is another layer of it when there is a thinking, always trying to seduce you into something that is not happening presently. And in that act of recognition, you stay with the walk. You put your heart in the present moment rather than the stories.
Yeah, so
well
yeah,
done.
that's resonate with all that, and the surrendering when Bob mentioned that, I think it was to that thought becoming reality, surrendering that is not that. So basically, in other words, recognizing what's reality. So yeah, that's that. Yeah.
Everything is equal and even. So it doesn't matter what you really say, think or do. It's still that. But don't, and with the sense of separation we put on it, takes it away from that equalness.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what I say or you say, it's still equal.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, because there is nothing you can do. We had occasionally we would have emails or feedbacks of people who have an ideas what you should be doing to get better, or what should you be doing to get it or grasp it. It is just a simple recognition of what is already so. No matter what you say or what you do, is the recognition what is already so. Makes it so much simpler than any idea of achievement.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything.
Nothing. No. Yeah. Marty, do you want to say?
Yeah, just like starting from
Good.
the space, starting from, yourself, this light, it, this light that we are transcends, this this thought. It transcends. It just seems to transcend everything in terms of time. This light that we all are transcends. All the time. It wakes you up from. Wakes you. It doesn't wake you. You awake in the dream, and it's like this. You just recognise that it's always been here. And trying to develop your connection to it or something like that. It's just a changing thought that starts off with learning about it and then getting better at it and then getting stronger in it, and then eventually, it's just, the thought is just sort of clouding, who you are. And it's so beautiful. Like it's not something that anyone can share with you, because it seems to be what we already are. Like I didn't get a hold of this from Bob. Bob didn't give it to me or tell me what it was. I just had a look and recognised that there was this little bit of light, a little bit of spaciousness, and I stopped thinking and really fell into that light that we are, and it just started to explode and expand, and I was like, fuck, oh, this is who I am, this is who we are, and it was always there. And the only thing that seemingly separates it is, like Bob says, a thought, me and you. Otherwise, without those thoughts, there's only this light.
Good.
Okay.
Did Bob have any more to add to that, or?
Did you want to say something?
I say saying everything is no thing, and no thing is everything. Well, you go.
Well, thanks for sharing. Just a few things have come up, but I guess I'll start with that. The impulse towards the self, the impulse towards the space is the grace of the self, is the grace of the space. So the thought, I need to achieve this, I need to become this, if that's coming from lack or feeling of separateness, that's bondage. But if that impulse, that joyousness in the inquiry, that itself is that movement of life force. So there's a real joy, and see, that's not a becoming. That's just simply a joyous investigation. And then it expands and it continues to grow. So that's just, sometimes I think people think, well, I can't meditate, or I can't do this, or I can't do that, because what's there to do? But just looking in, recognizing where's that coming from? Is that an impulse from the self, or is that a desire from the ego? And the other thing is just space. I love the pointing to the space. And something that was coming to me is the inside a pot, for instance. The space inside a pot is not any different from the space outside of the pot. And when you take the lid off the pot, that space just merges with all the space around it. And that's what's happening inside every one of us. We have this meat vehicle of a body, and then the mind forms and consciousness, and then we identify with this body in this space. But when we look within, that spaciousness you see is no different. There's no outside and inside. There's no inside myself and external world. It is all the self. And so the other beautiful thing is that thoughts and the mind occur in that space. And that's quite profound. When we can recognize, you're mentioning the spaciousness as well. I think for a majority of people, it's inside their mind. There's no space. It's just the continuous monologue of thought. And so the ego is very strong as a result of that, and fears and desires are very strong as a result of that. But as the recognition that all of these thoughts are occurring in that space-like awareness, and they dissolve into that space-like awareness, and that space-like awareness is prior to the thought, and you recognize you are that, that's when the feeling or the experience of oneness occurs. So anyway, just a few thoughts, but that's that.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
I was just randomly thinking about a dream. I woke up in my dream, and I'm watching the dream, and I'm seeing all these images in the dream, like move and talk, and there's a story that's been created. And when you wake up or whatever, in your bed, and you think, oh, I was awake in that dream. No, but you know that you're none of those images in the dream, because how could you be an image in your own dream? You can't. You wait, but yet you watch the dream. So you were there witnessing the dream, but you know you're not any of the images in the dream. So then you're just this light, or this space that, or this consciousness, or this witnessing that is viewing the dream, viewing the images, just allowing it to be. Like Bob says in shorter words than I just said before, but it's a funny way to, to see it, that this dream is just images, and you are this space that's allowing the images to be.
Thanks. Oh, sorry. Thanks, Bob. But just even understanding space, even though you're here, if you're not in your head and there's just silence and space, and when someone speaks, they're not here. It's just that you're part of everything. You're the same energy as everyone. Yeah.
There is.
Yes.
I don't know. There's a beautiful poem by Longfellow. I'm not going to tell you the poem's a part of it. It's called The Slave's Dream. And I'll go into this part that is so amazing. He said he did not feel the driver's whip, nor the burning heat of day, for life had illumined the dream had illumined the land of sleep, and his lifeless body lay a worn-out fetter that the soul had thrown and broken and thrown away. You get that so-called life isn't tossed aside, that pattern that it was expressing through. It was a fetter. That's what binds us, this body-mind, the chains which we're bound into. And the death that illumined that, lit it up and broke it and thrown away. Where do you go? It moved back into the absolute, into the space again. I don't know whether you can get that or not, because I mightn't have pronounced it rightly, I don't know. I know it had a big...
It's quite profound.
Lot goes before it and a lot afterwards, but about the dream he was having of his life.
Well, we have a nice comment here from Bradley. Thoughts are birds in the sky of your mind. How beautiful. How beautiful. We usually equate thoughts with clouds, as if there was, one could often have some sort of pejorative vision of a cloud. Cloud is something that is covering up. I really love the clouds. I mean, gosh. But birds, birds are intelligent. They have nervous systems. They're flying. They're moving.
Who was that?
Bradley, not Tazi. No, the other Bradley. Yes, you met him. Thank you, Bradley. That's beautiful.
Last night I was lying in bed, and the physical brain felt like it was splitting a little bit, like in several bits, and then it was just like energy just left. And then from there it was really freaky, actually. Thoughts didn't happen, but awareness was there. And my five senses became very, very heightened. And it was like as if, not thinking, but it was like as if awareness was happening from everywhere other than the localized inside the skull. So I guess my question is, when we have contracted energy inside what I would call the brain, which becomes the me self, is that like what's going on? Like when that released, there was no localization from inside. I wasn't seeing from in the eyes. Awareness was happening all around, and it was like as if past, present and future merged into one simultaneous something or other, whatever that word is. And then after about an hour, maybe 2 hours, because I was like, oh, this is neat, man. Like, this is cool, right? But I was a little bit scared. There was also a little bit of awareness of a little bit scared to get up and go to the toilet in case I didn't know where the walls were.
Yeah.
I kind of thought, I'll just lie there because I know this will pass. And then I woke up this morning and it's like, localization's back inside, looking out through these eyes. But there's also the awareness that there's like a contracted energy again back inside the skull. Can you please explain?
Well, the brain doesn't do anything. It can't do anything if that life wasn't expressing through it. And for amazing this total energy to come and express through a pattern you call the head, it's got to contract a little bit, isn't it? But it's still, then it shines out of your eyes if it comes through the brain.
But it is actually a brilliant description.
Yeah.
When you say that, the contraction, the seeming contraction relaxed, and you couldn't even experience that localized, that physical locality, it shows you that this is a piece of software in the brain that works, and it is helpful. It works for a reason. It's there for a reason. Because as you say, if that one is completely relaxed, and it happens under different substances or in deep meditation or spontaneously, like in your case, then you may not even find, you may hit the wall. You may not find your way out of the room. So this is a helpful pattern. It's a helpful piece of software. You can see the animals usually have that software running smoothly. The moment it stops running, that will be the end of them. They won't be able to fend for themselves and the body will have to drop away. But there is another sense, there is locality in the body, physical locality, so the body knows its boundaries and it helps functioning. It's beautiful. But there is another sense of locality which happens only in the thinking. That is the translation of the locality. Now, physical locality, without the words, you can see the cats have it and it functions well. But with humans, there is additional layer which translates it to there is a me and I am in the body, and that is the additional contraction. If there is a translation of what is happening effortlessly into the idea of me that runs the body, and that me exists through time, that me existed yesterday and it will exist tomorrow. Now there is another piece of software which is called default mode network or whatever it is, localized somewhere on the left hand side, and whatever the science is another layer of a dream, but it is helpful to explain. That one is the one that causes the problem, because that one is the one that creates the sense of identity that existed through time. Time is mind. Without the thought, there is no time. It's only that present moment, as you described, where past and future merge, and it's just this and nothing else. Now the mind comes and it brings up, that piece of software brings up, the whole segregation. Oh, this happened, this will happen, or maybe not, and all to me. And this is who I am. I am that entity. However, when you see through that, the past and future are still accessible. All the mind stories are still accessible. But the idea of me is seen through. And even when you say me, you know that there isn't any phantom there that exists in any other way than the thought. And then you can enjoy the pattern, because the pattern, again, that existence through time and the storytelling pattern, the narrative, the commentary pattern, is what is really fully responsible for creating that magnificent dream of civilization, evolution and all that, because animals don't have it. They can't group themselves in the little societies. They can't find things in common. They can't be, women, non-duality, seekers, finder, whatever that. So it is a beautiful pattern when it is a serving pattern, rather than when it runs the show and it, dress up and is believed as a reality. Now, okay, I had a moment of relaxation, and now it is contraction again, and I'm back in the me. No, you're never back in the me. It's just a running software, like a running software of, bubbling in the belly or sweating on the skin.
Or causing Parkinson's.
Or Parkinson shakes, yes.
Yeah, that's really interesting that you say that, because I actually thought the brain, for want of a better word, is like a computer tower. I thought, the motherboard has dialed down so that the natural awareness, maybe, if that's the right word, can happen. And I'm not schizophrenic, just want to say this, but I even when I was in, not me, but when that state was happening, there was even, like, it felt so freaking real, man. Like, you can't tell me this didn't happen, right? I was on not me, not Tasha, but awareness was Bob, and suddenly Bob became skidding on the water at high speed, and the freedom was incredible. And then there was this real slight slither of, but how can that be, because I'm lying on my bed? And then that slight slither left again, and then I was back on the water, as if consciousness and awareness was gliding on the water at lightning speed with absolute freedom. And then it's like, oh man, I don't want to come back in the body. Like, get me out. And then that's it. So yeah, thank you.
That's beautiful. It's still an experience.
That's my concern. Oh, that's just an experience and that's not it. But it was nice.
It is beautiful. And those experiences give you a little bit of a taste of a freedom. So there's nothing wrong. When they show up, you just blow them a kiss and say thank you.
Because I thought, this is what Bob and Kat would talk about. This is patterning. And the patterning looks like Bob and I are one and we're floating across the water. That's just a pattern. And it's like, that's okay, just enjoy it. Yeah. Because I'm going to go eat today. That's a pattern too.
Yes. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Anita.
So there's another layer.
Anita, and then we'll get to the mic.
But there's something that was aware of all of that.
Yeah. I don't know what that is.
The coming and going of experience, but there's an awareness of all that happens within space and awareness.
But almost all of that time there was no explanation except for a tiny slither that slotted in and out every so often.
And when mine jumped in and out, is that what you said? That's what you said. I'm lying on the bed. What's going on?
Yeah.
It's the mind jumped
That's
back
a
in.
thought,
Yeah, just a thought. But still there was an awareness that there was an experience occurring. And that's the beautiful.
But I didn't want the awareness of the experience. I just wanted the freedom of the experience.
It was already there.
Yes.
It was already there. It's what it is.
I don't know. I just know I didn't want to be in the bed. I wanted to be in the water for sure.
Yeah. Well, you can.
Beautiful. Jason?
We've had a bit of interaction before, and in terms of like the mind, brain, and what you were saying, for me, I've been experiencing a lot over the years the next layer of neurology, which is in the heart. In the heart brain, there's 40,000 brain cells that form in there when you are a very, very small fetus, before this one even starts. And that's linked to the heart chakra, obviously the function of the heart. It sits in the top of the atrium there. And like the ancient Hawaiian tradition, the kahunas, and everybody knows about Ho'oponopono, and I don't even know if I said that right, but they have a lot of ritualistic ways of connecting deeper into spirit by like touching the heart. So you activate that neurology. So you come from that place of the innocence of the child, the uncorrupted child. The saying, "We return to innocence," it is so true. Because when that baby pops out, there is no ego. It is its mother. Doesn't know which hole to put the food in. That's what mother and father are for, to feed it, because it doesn't know. So we grow all this head brain stuff, which restricts us. And then the journey is back to this one, which is both at the same time. I don't want to say any more.
Okay, we have a comment here from Catherine and from James. Trying to find the answer with the mind is an impossible mission because you are using the wrong instrument. Full stop. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, James. And there's one more. Yeah. I've got to find it. Presence awareness is ever new. That from Tazi. And Jasmine, is there a me outside of thought? Yeah, very good question. Is there a me outside of thought? There is a presence. When there is no thought, there is a presence. You can't, there is experienceable sense of existence, sense of being, undeniable sense of I am. But this is not a sense of I am. I am is a translation. But the sense is there. But is there a me that owns the presence? Is there a me that is present or is existing or just existence? Experientially, without the thought, there is no object of existence. It's just the field of existence. And any boundaries put on those fields come from thinking. Unless I think I am here in the body, well, there is just being. Unless I think I'm a woman or a person or human or whatever, there is just existence. Without the thought, there is no boundaries to existence, and there is no me as such, as an object in consciousness. And even when you describe the me, it doesn't make any sense. When you describe the ego or the me, that doesn't make any sense. Like, who is describing the ego? Like, ego is supposed to be who I am or what I am. So if it is being described, it's obviously a concept. So forget about it. Don't worry about it. The awareness, the presence, the consciousness of whatever arises, that one is undeniable. That one is what deserves the putting the heart and putting the importance in it, not the phenomena.
Can you say that the existence exists or it doesn't exist?
You can't objectify existence. You can't say neither.
You can't say it exists or not exists.
Yeah.
Where's that leave you?
Presence awareness, yeah. What about space?
Space like?
Yeah, we're using space, we say space-like. We don't say it is a space, because the closer you look, and we had also some feedback from people who are watching the meetings, the closer you look to the space, the more you find content. Because the attention is the creative force that makes that emptiness bubble into form, particles, whatever, the quarks, whatever you want to have it. So it is, the space cannot be grasped in any way, because there is, emptiness cannot be can't be found because it's not objective, it's not an object. Emptiness is a field of potentiality, which the moment attention goes there, it brings up the life, it brings up the expression. And now we have forms. And forms are there. Only when the mind operates and it interprets it as something that is opposite to space. Without that interpretation, you can't even pinpoint a form. And like Marty was saying, in the dream, all the forms in the dream, how solid are they? How solid do they feel? How solid are they experienced as?
So Bob, would you say space is separate from vibration?
Space being separate. Yeah?
Would you say space is separate from vibration?
There's no separation anywhere. It's all the one essence, shapes and forms.
No separation.
So if we regard space as existence, because vibration is on and off, we can say space exists and doesn't. Existence exists and doesn't exist. Exist doesn't exist. Exist doesn't exist. That's how it vibrates. Is that right?
But is it on or off?
On and off. When it's off, it's not on. When it's on, it's not off. It is off, on, off, on for eternity.
It's spontaneous, isn't it?
Duality in the words
but not in reality.
And it's the one vibration.
It cannot be one because it's on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off.
Happy and sad is the one vibration.
Those are human emotions and not necessarily existence.
The one cannot exist without the other. You can try to picture the day if night never happened. Try to experience health if you have never been sick. They're completely interdependent. As you say, they appear to be two. They appear to be a duality. But without one, the other disappears as well. So they're completely interdependent. They one, two sides of the same coin.
Everything is equal and even.
And the grasping, I think it was James saying here, grasping the answer, finding the answer with the mind, impossible mission because we are using the wrong tool for the job, the wrong instrument.
Okay, can I ask another question?
Yeah, ask question.
My answer to you.
Ask. Yeah, wait for the mic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for waiting. So can we relate on and off to free will? I have free will, then I don't have free will.
Who
So-
has?
so-
Who is it that has it?
The non-who, which is existence, because if we already agree that the who does not exist, then I'm that non-existence. So then I must have free will.
Non-existence has free will?
Oh, yes.
Okay, non-existence have free will or existence have no free will. That's the same, isn't it? The
Yeah, but-
question disappears.
Sorry.
Who is willing?
If there is no who, which is a separate entity or individual, then I must be that non-who or non-entity or eternity itself.
But who is the I that must be it?
That's a wrong question.
That's the point. That's the whole question. Because, you know, when you formulate that sort of a mathematical form, if this, then that, you know, like almost, you create a condition for the life. Oh, if there is no me, that I must be that no me. Well, but there is no me to be the no me.
Who is free or not free? If there's no me.
Useless conversation.
Yeah. I think James was the second, and then Julia.
I'm wanting to speak just to give an answer to your question. And what all they said was true. There is no two, there is only one. But there is no space, the noumenon, and there is space, which is 3D. Your question is related to dimensional physics and how that comes into being. So there are these other levels. So in time and space, yeah, time exists. We can watch the clock. We know that a plane is going to arrive here at a certain time because it's travelling in space. It's travelling in time, and that's the basis of E equals mc squared. But at the other dimensions, how time operates is different. People talk about circular time, the fourth dimension, the etheric dimension. Time is circular, so the clocks might move, but at the same time they're not. You go to the fifth dimension, you're outside of that, you can see the clocks moving, but there is no time. You go up to another dimension, there is no time. You go to another dimension, there is no light. It's even before light. It does the human head in. It's very difficult. But to me, my sense, your question's related to that. So while you were doubting and thinking, oh, but it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off. Yes. From the nothingness comes on, off. That's how the nothingness becomes chair, person, bag of meat. So there's details in there, but yes, there is no two, there is only here, there is only this. And all these other dimensions exist, and it's tricky stuff. It's really tricky stuff.
They exist and they don't.
Yeah, they exist and they don't. So that's...
There you go. Bob wanted to say something.
Well, when the sense of separation comes about, there's, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Leave it, everything as it is. On job.
The moment you start
Just
separating into dimensions,
The
and
story
substance,
goes on and on and
Yeah.
on.
So Bob,
Story goes
would you
on.
feel a little bit problematic if I ask, that's the problem to who?
Well, who was asking the question?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Not
you
for
said that's
him.
the problem.
It's not a problem for him because he doesn't go into that segregation, separation, and creating more story, more science, more explanations, more words, more thoughts, more concepts. So the problem's not there.
No, very, very respectfully, I think you misunderstood my question. But, Marty, go ahead, please.
I was just going to try and answer it in my way, but you're saying you are the existence. You are the existence, but not as a thought. You are the space, but not as the thought space. This isn't something you think about. This is something that you sense. You sense within yourself that you are the space, but not as the thought. Space is just a way to express how it feels to be you. Existence is just a way to express this. But existence as a word is not this.
Martin, do you know Rumi?
I don't know him, no. I've never met him.
Well, Rumi is a Sufi mystic.
Right.
He passed 800 years ago,
Okay.
but he's still very famous in world of spirituality.
Right.
And one of the things in relation to free will that he mentioned is wait, do it extremely. Wait, do it extremely. Wait, do it extremely. So when mind attacks happen, when you lose the control, all Rumi asks you to do is to be patient. And when you take the control, do it extremely, which is practicing the inquiry or whatever. Anyways.
Well, you are doing it extremely. So.
A lot of people have different advices. Probably better to stick to one.
Yeah, but who decide for me to stick to one? And what is that method? And who gives that method? That existence must be, because there is only that.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
As Martin says, not as a thought. What's wrong with right now if you don't think about it?
I think Julia was going to say something. Yeah?
Somebody else wanted to say something? Go ahead.
So the mind can be actually a useful tool because it is mind that is asking who wants to know. It isn't that mind. That is thought. It's thought. It's a useful thought. It's a useful tool. And it's really what I love about Bob is that you're always bringing it back to that very simple question. And it is so simple. This pattern has a tendency often to lecture. Man, I could just go on. You maybe, like, if you don't know me, like, you'll know me in this room. You'll never see it. It doesn't happen here. Maybe you saw a glimpse of it once, Kat. You did. I was on a tram or something, or on a bus, and I just started giving a spiel to some stranger on the bus, and I just went. So it sometimes happens that this just will just start. Oh, my poor children. Oh my God. And yet, when I come to these meetings, whether online or Zoom or in here, I'm just like, wow. There's an observing of the difference between being in the meeting and then being with the strangers on the street or on tech support or whoever it is that I'm babbling to. You know what I mean? And so there's sometimes an interest in wanting to, like, well, just maybe I should join Toastmasters or something so I get the practice of speaking publicly. That's the issue, isn't it? I'm on camera now, and there's a bunch of people in the room, and I'm and then, there's an I here, isn't there? Who gives a shit? Oh, yeah. Yeah, apparently, huh? Yeah. Seemingly. We were talking earlier about hope, and there's this hope sometimes that maybe I'll be able to talk like let go of whatever mental barrier that exists. It's always coming back to the me, doesn't it? You know what I mean? It's always this. That's the mental barrier, is that I. Go ahead.
You say there's a difference. There's differences, there's no difference.
Yeah, there is no difference. No, but the mind is making up a difference, isn't there? Isn't it? Yeah.
Seemingly so.
Yeah, seemingly.
That's an appearance. What it seems to be is only an appearance. It's not so. Things are not as they appear to be.
Yeah, the mind seems to, whatever is happening is there's this seeming differentiating in the appearance. And
well, go ahead.
Go ahead with the differentiating. It's not very helpful. Just saying. Yeah.
Tazi says, give up this endless ruminating.
See, if I can never do that, you know.
Well, show me the eye.
That's right. There's no eye that could do that, so that's why I could never do that. So if it's going to happen, it will. You know, I don't beat myself up too long. You know, it'll happen a little bit. There's a noticing. Oh, how come you're not doing it here? You know, who gives a shit?
It's all equal.
Huh?
Everything is equal. Everything is even.
Yeah, I mean, if it was, I have a. Perhaps this is just a belief. If it was supposed to happen, it would have.
And Jasmine says, you are sweet as you are, Julia.
Oh, thank you, Jasmine. you got to see me when I'm in a bad mood. Anyway, you were talking earlier about hope. Yeah, and it always relates back to a hoper, doesn't it? You know,
hope implies something in the future.
It implies a future. It implies a hoper.
Yeah.
You know, doesn't it? I was in a room the other day full of people.
Well, they called me a no-hoper a few years ago.
You are hopeless,
right.
okay? You're hopeless.
They were right.
You are hopeless, Bob, but, you know. Yeah, that would be freedom, yeah? No hope. No hopes given. No fucks given, yeah? Hopeless.
Well, even if the hope shows up or the giving shows up and it's not believed, that's not a problem.
Oh no, yeah. It's not believed, and it's quickly seen. You know what I mean? It doesn't take long. That's the beauty of this. It doesn't, you know. I was talking to my friend Jane the other day, and we were talking about, you know, letting go. We used to try so hard, you know, and now it's just like, oh yeah, notice that, yeah. You know, and they're like, oh yeah, there it is, okay. And then things just fall away quite easily, you know. And it's so quick and easy to just take a look and go, wait a minute. Oh yeah, there's a hoper here. I want to be able to speak more confidently and comfortably in this group. There it is. Nope, no it is. There it isn't. And then it's seen, you know.
Is Bob? I have a couple of comments here. We have two Jasmine, so and they're both American Jasmines. So the other Jasmine says, "Who knows?" And Navi, what is it that is on and off? Is it still not the same one? Absolutely, that was when Heyman was sharing. And now Jasmine says, only when you give more weight and importance to one or the other, I like this even slightly more. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's it for now.
So, you know, Bob, since I've been coming here, I'm changing, right? But I mean, it's beyond me. Like, I don't know how I'm changing, but I'm changing, right?
but I still don't get your pointers. So sorry, like
You never
something.
will.
It's like it's just too direct,
Yeah.
and my brain is just so
Wonderful.
used to complication, right?
That is wonderful.
Yeah. And so one of them that I was just talking about this with Gilbert, right? I see, to be very honest, I don't get the big deal of it, right? But that's why I'm asking you to, because to everyone else that are clear, this is a big deal. So I know that I don't get it, right? So
Because the one that wants to get it will never get it.
You already are.
So, the idea of me, the self, the mind that wants to get it and make it a big deal is imagined. It's imagined.
right.
That I, which, as you said, beautifully so, it is too simple for the mind to be grasped. Mind loves complications, explanations, logic, if, then, that sort of stuff. There's none here. So that mind which wants to be satisfied intellectually, it never will.
It never
That
will.
mind that wants to believe that, oh, now finally I got it, this is a really big deal. That mind is imagination. This is like Santa Claus. This mind that wants to get it never will get on with that. The I, the Mitra, the I who wants to get enlightened, never will. Give up on her and see who is aware of that pattern wanting to get a big deal. Who is it that knows about that desire? Because you are still here, with or without it. When you stop talking and thinking, Mitra disappears. Desire for getting a big deal disappears. But you still exist. Existence is there. Only the mind comes up and says, oh, but so what? What a big deal that existence is there. No, I want something bigger. I want something greater. Everybody who is clear says, oh, it's the most huge, grand thing in my life. Well, that's a description. Without that thought, what is it? What is it for the cat and dog? Is it that grand? It is a natural state. The idea of awakening, enlightenment, or huge, supreme, superior state that I have and those who are not clear don't, is rubbish. You don't want that. You don't want to separate yourself. Oh, those are clear and those are not clear. I'm here or I'm here. And the separation goes on. This is rubbish. Discard that. The mind that desires enlightenment. The mind that desires to be superior or inferior. All that is happening in the presence that you exist, in that pure existence that you are. Both ends. Being clear, not being clear. Getting it, not getting it. Can you see that this is just a mental landscape of the mind that have all those worries and all those desires? And it all happens in the consciousness, in that field of knowing that you are.
I can't believe it, but yeah.
Yes, you don't have to believe it. The one that wants to believe it is
so
not
that-
you.
Yeah, I mean, that was beautiful. Thank you. I don't know why I'm crying though. Things are just, I don't know what's going on, but yeah, as
Finds
usual.
the way to your heart.
Did you want to say something, Bob? Okay. So, well, I mean, what we were talking about with Gilbert was that he said, you know, Bob's quote that he says, "Are you unaware right now?" But no, right?
That's it.
That's it. And then he said, what did you have to do
Yes.
to be aware? Nothing. Am I quoting correctly?
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
What? That's it. Yeah. But can you explain a little bit more? Like, what you're actually pointing? Like, what should I get? Like, what is there anything there to get? Like, there is nothing, right? I don't know.
For the
I
mind,
don't get it again.
For the mind, it is not good enough, is it? For the mind, being aware, being alive, being present, being radiantly awake and alive, that's bullshit. That's not good enough. Really. I mean, the radiance of existence, the fact that the life is expressing through this body, is running the whole system, is beating the heart, is creating thinking, the seeing is happening, hearing, that's an absolute miracle. That's marvelous. That's incredible. But the mind comes, no, that's nothing. That's nothing. That's taken for granted. Nothing. Well, come on, I want something more. I want something bigger. The miracle of existence, the radiance of life, the beauty of the capacity to sentiently experience and express that incredible mystery for the mind, that's all rubbish. Nothing. Nothing. And Bob says, it's not nothing. It's only nothing for the mind. For the heart, it is still a no thing. It's not a thing. That mystery, that miracle is not a thing. The radiance of life pouring out of you, the love that you are, is not a thing. But is it really nothing? Look with your heart and you know the truth. Look with your mind and you miss it completely. No thing versus nothing. Which one is it?
Are you unaware right now?
There you go.
No.
Without a stop the thought. Have you disappeared? Stop breathing? Heart stop beating? Thinking? So, if you're not unaware, you must be aware. You don't have to put any label on it at all.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, it is, but,
But
at the same time, I don't know who I am. Like
nobody knows.
Well, yeah, I know I'm nothing. Like I get that, but I still don't get the.
See,
you're not nothing.
Yeah, I am is the basic sense of presence, basic thought of being. You know that you are, but not I am this or I am that, not I am everything or nothing, just that I am not unaware. Isn't that a fact?
Say that again, sorry. I am not unaware, yeah, well I'm aware, that's for
So
sure.
if you're not unaware, you must be aware.
Yeah.
You don't have to try and pinpoint it or put a description on it. Say anything about it. It's a fact.
And he says, you're not nothing, you're not everything, you're not particular thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hearing
But
that
you
traffic,
are.
hearing that traffic going by.
Yeah.
Did you have to stop and say the traffic's going by? You were focusing on me.
Mm-hmm.
But you're still hearing it.
Yes.
Still sensing any movement in the room.
Yeah.
Still focusing on me, the hearing of it. So that awareness is functioning without thinking.
That's right. Thinking is totally unrequired, like not required.
Yes.
Then it can be utilised.
Yeah.
And the question, what am I? Who am I? Am I everything? Am I nothing? Am I God? Am I absolute? Am I ego? Whatever it is, it's always just a thought. It's just another cloud on the sky or bird on the sky. Just let it go. That question can never be answered. Who am I or what am I? Nisargadatta told you, I am that. Or you could say, that I am. The only knowing, the only understanding is that I am. Not what I am, but that I am. That I exist. There is an existence. I know that I am. Not what is it, but that it is.
Right.
And that's pretty incredible if you look with your heart. But it's nothing when you look with your head.
Right.
Don't look with your head. Relax the thinking.
Mm.
And you will see
This is what
incredible
I
mystery.
want to get.
Yes.
This is, yeah. This is what, yeah.
It is always there. You don't have to get it. Underneath that overlay of commentary, it is always there, fully radiant, fully present. As Bob just shown you. Did you have to beat your heart? No. Did you have to do anything for the hearing to happen? No. It's happening effortlessly all the time. It's a little bit obscured by that thinking, but it only is obscured by the thinking because the attention habitually attends, goes to the thinking, believes the thinking, take them to be seriously, take the thoughts to be important. When the importance stays with that mystery of existence, the radiance, the miracle of existence, the thoughts may still be there, as many or more, but they're not being attended to. You know, when you don't listen to the thoughts, like you don't listen to the traffic, does it bother you? No. Does it obscure anything? No.
It's much more simple than what I think it is, right? I just need to stay in my senses. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you need really do nothing. You need to recognize that what you want is already fully present, fully blown. The aliveness is already here. It's nothing that needs to be done. It's just a recognition that what you already are, always and forever, effortlessly. You are that field of awareness, the consciousness in which the thoughts come and go, feelings come and go, sensations come and go. And yes, focusing the attention into the senses will make it easier to defocus from the commentary. But even that, ultimately, is not required. Because what you are already.
But what is that still feeling? It's something feels very still. Sometimes when I relax.
Sometimes, yeah. If it comes and goes, don't worry about it. Let it come and go.
But it's there always.
If it's there, it's not a feeling. It's an empty screen. It's an empty
I just
space.
notice and it comes.
Yes.
When I notice it, it's there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Notice it when you're not into the head so much, not thinking so much.
That's right. But it's like that. You're talking about that stillness that's looking through my eyes, that stillness that is what you, right, talking? Like that's awareness? Is that what you call awareness? Is that what you call awareness?
Yes.
That still thing.
Yeah, the field of presence, field of knowing.
That is like still.
That is where you are. Yes.
That is the space you're
It's
talking.
intelligence. Bob calls it sometimes intelligence energy. At the same time, it is still, but it has a potential to move like the energy.
Yeah.
And there is intelligence in it. Because when you look at the body, you look at the thoughts, they're always relevant to something that's happening around, intelligent. When you look at the body, there is intelligence in moving the blood and oxygen and all that. That field of energy is intelligence. There is intelligence or consciousness. And is still with the potential to express as the 10,000 things that you are. But you can't know it as an object because that is what you are. How could you objectify it and watch? From where would you be looking if that's what you are? So you can only know that you are, but not what you are. The description is never described, no matter what words we put on it. Awareness, stillness, screen, field, none of that is what you are. Intelligence, energy, I am, presence, God, love, rubbish, all words.
Okay.
Description is never described.
Okay.
But you can't deny your existence, can you?
No.
There you go. There you go.
Thank
That's
you
the
so
only
much.
thing that's real. That's true.
Thank you so much.
Blocky? Anita?
I'll just add one little bit of thing to that wonderful thing, is that it's so intimate and so you that the mind can't grasp it. It is so intimate. It has always been there. When you see, it is just so the deepest sense of self, and it's so personal and so your sense. Absolutely, here. because the experience, there's a direct awareness of everything. So it's in that way. I don't mean personal as a separate person, because it's everything, but the experience is so intimate. Yeah.
So is it me?
Yes. It's me, and there's me with the big M and with the small M.
No, but I mean, you know how, I don't know, I have a feeling, you know, that familiar, you know, when I go within, there is something, I feel like that this is me, even though I can't describe it. But, you know, there is something that you know that's been always you. Is that that?
Yes.
Is that that?
Yes.
Timeless.
It just, I'm mistaken. Always thought that it's within this body, but that's where I'm going wrong, right? It's everything. Sense.
That's just the pattern through it expresses through it.
Yeah.
You're looking out here, there's no other.
Right. But it feels so personal, because I don't really feel like that I feel like as me. It's also in you. It doesn't feel like that, but it is, right? We're talking about that. Right?
See that only thought differentiated where I end and you start. It's only the thought that tells you that I'm here and you are there and I'm feeling different than you. Without the thought.
Without the thought.
The thought comes up, then the feeling. And then
the
emotion.
feeling.
Thought, feeling, and emotion. Motion is energy and movement.
Yeah, okay.
So you put the energy, there's others, there's this, there's that in the story.
But it's that feeling. That feeling is everything. That's very interesting.
Beautiful. Not interesting. Corrected.
And I have a couple of comments here from our online community. And we have 30 people watching with us right now. And Del first. There is nothing going on in my life that has to do with my soul. Beautiful. And Tazi says, my stream has stopped. Thanks, Bob, Kat, everybody. Yeah, beautiful. So that's very clear, Tazi, yes, when one hear you. Jasmine says, Mitra, simply would a body named Mitra without the essence of being could possibly exist? Without the essence, without the life animating. You know, there wouldn't be a story of Mitra, body of Mitra, none of it. Good point, Jasmine, thank you. And the same Jasmine says, Mitra, stop investigating and accept what Bob is saying. Tune into his energy and presence while you are in his presence. What a gift.
Sorry, what was
that is a beautiful idea. She says stop questioning and just relax into, tune in to that guiding frequency that Bob is offering. It is all about resonating. So exactly, she says, Jasmine, the American Jasmine that was here last year, not the American Jasmine that was here a month ago. And we welcome everyone to show up in here, whether you're American or whether you're Jasmine. So she says, Mitra, stop investigating and accept what Bob is saying. Tune into his energy and presence while you are in his presence. What a gift.
Nobody can show you anything.
And now we have Chuck says, oops, sorry, I'll have to check on it again. Just 1 second.
See if you can find where you see your presence is different from his presence.
Yeah, just one last thing here. It says that stillness looking through your eyes is the same stillness looking through everyone's eyes. That stillness hearing through your ears is the same this year into everyone's ear. Great advice to Mitra. That's from Chuck and from Laura.
I'll be 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to quickly say, first of all, when you really start to notice, really take attention to things, you notice things that you never knew were there, that were always there. Like this microphone has this little piece of steel that I've held this, so many times, but I've never seen that little piece that holds the microphone on there. So taking, deep notice of yourself, and you'll notice something that's always been there that you've been missing. And also start from the fact that you are already that, and then ask yourself, does that have any boundaries? Does that stop at, the boundaries that end at where your skin are? And if you really look at that, if you start from the fact that you are that, you'll notice that has no boundaries. It's massive.
I heard Nietzsche onto it. You talked about that innate knowing. You talked about that stillness that you felt has always been there, and that's it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So stay with that, honor that. Just like I heard you talk from that space, and there's this thing that's not changing, and then the mind wants to go out and work out me and there, and tries to work out mentally what's going on positionally. There's no position, but just keep coming back to that space that you're already talking about. So yeah, I find sometimes people say stuff and then people get jumped on as like, oh, you should see this sort of thing, and it's just like, no, this is a subtle, compassionate thing to, unfold and gently continue with it. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah, that's beautiful, and this is really crucial, Mitra. You already know that, and Adrian, as he just pointed it out, you have already shown us that you know that. Don't fall for the idea that others get it and you don't. Deeply in your heart, you are that, and you've been already describing it beautifully. And on Julia's reminder, we have Zoom meetings 3 times a week. For the American bunch, there is an extra meeting that is happening tomorrow, which is Sunday afternoon for them. And next week we're going to change the time, right? But this week is still the same.
You got to remember that. Thank you.
Yes, I know, because I'm scheduling all the meetings. Bob is also available for individual meetings, and you're welcome to contact us through the website. There is an email there. And we have evening groups as well. For Europe, it will be a morning. So that's that.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Bob. Thanks, Kat. Love you, Bobby.